Ladies and gentlemen, and fight fans around the world, this is All Access MMA.
Always great catching up with my next guest, Ed Herman, who's going to be fighting John Allen coming up here at UFC Fight Night on September 12th. Ed, how's it going, man?
Good, guys. Just getting done with a conditioning workout. Finishing camp up here this week, so ready to rock.
Yeah, and I'm sure you really want to get into the cage and get that fight after what happened last time. Obviously, your opponent, Gerald Meerschaert, testing positive for COVID-19. I wanted to go back to that night real quick. What happened with you finding out about Gerald, and then I know the UFC wanted you to fight. Take me back to that night. What happened that entire time?
So it was a couple hours before I was to leave the hotel for the arena. I got the call about Jared being out. And then at the same time, I kind of found out that we weren't going to get paid as much as, we normally would in that situation. A lot of times you get your show money, but since this has been happening so much, they weren't able to do that. So with the frustrations of losing the fight and the financial loss, I was like, I'm out of here then if you can't get me another fight. I asked him, is there any way to find a replacement? And he said there wasn't going to be a chance. So I left the hotel, met up with my family who was down there, at our own hotel room that we had reserved, and started hanging with the family, having some margaritas. And a couple hours later, I saw I had some missed calls, called Mick back, and they said, "Hey, can you come to the arena right now and fight?" Trevin Giles passed out, and we got Kevin Holland sitting here. Can you come? Basically, we'll come and get you. Where are you at? And it was like, well, I'm in the pool with a margarita in my hand right now. And they're like, well, obviously this can't happen then. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened, really. Nobody really knew where I was until I talked to Mick. I probably shouldn't have left the hotel. If I'd have stayed there, I could have had an opportunity to go fight. But who knows? Who would have guessed that was going to happen? You know what I mean?
Totally, especially when they told you weren't going to get a fight. So, I mean, you played it fine. Were they upset with you? Because they shouldn't have been, because you were told you weren't going to have a fight. So you're like, margarita time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, let your frustrations out. That's what you do. So, I think maybe they were frustrated they couldn't get a hold of me at first. But once, things kind of came through towards the end, they realized, it's kind of a ridiculous situation. And it was, it is what it is.
No, for sure. Did you end up getting paid or no?
We got some pay, but not near all of what I was supposed to get. So no.
And then you were supposed to fight Gerald again. They were trying to reschedule the fight, and now he's out, and you're fighting John Allen instead. Did you ever find out what happened? Because I don't think it was really known. I don't think it was COVID, obviously, because he got it before.
I heard they had to close their gym down. I don't know if that's city regulations with what's going on or what exactly, So he was unable to train, basically to get ready for the fight. It's kind of what I heard, but who knows for sure exactly. They don't give us a lot of info.
So what do you know about John Allen, your opponent? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
He's a shootbox guy, so he's going to come out aggressive, which, he's actually pretty patient for a shootbox guy. He's got good technique. Young, explosive guy, he's good on his feet. His ground game looks like it's a little questionable too. It's hard to say. Most of his losses are by submission. Most of his wins are by TKO. So, young guy, really, you never know. The opponent could change again, really. For a second there, they had a different opponent. It actually changed 4 times in 24 hours before they finally were able to get, John Allen to, basically, I think these issues was a lot of issues trying to get guys, on short notice. So looks like he's good to go so far, but you never know with so many people testing positive for COVID every fucking show.
No, I know it's crazy right now, everything that sort of happened with that. Now, I don't know if you know this, but he actually is still scheduled to fight at UFC 255 on November 21st. Did you know that?
I did not at first, but I found out later just because I saw people talking about it. Which good for him, man. Now's the right time for these young guys to fight as much as they want and make as much money as they can. So I think that's the first time I've ever heard of somebody being double booked like that. It's funny because people always ask me, like, who's your next fight going to be? And they're surprised that we don't have multiple fights booked with, people that we know in a row. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Do you like, I don't know if you've had that happen before in the regional scene, even before you got in the UFC, but do you think that messes with his head is all, maybe looking past you a little bit, or no?
Well, I hope so. I always get looked past. Look, I'm the underdog every time. I was the underdog against Mershart.
That's
on
right.
all the betting odds. And it's like, so it's cool. I love it. An old friend of mine said this once, you know, being the underdog suits me well. And, you know, I always thought about that too. Old Randy Couture said that once, and it's always stuck with me.
How's your training camp been leading into this? Who have you got to work with?
You know, training camp's going great, man. I'm back pedal to the metal the last 5 weeks. I got like a good week off, and then I feel good, man. I feel really good. I feel like I'm even in better shape, which is good because, you know, I got a younger guy. So conditioning is going to be the factor. And I feel good, man. I'm training with a bunch of savages like always. So, you know, we're getting it done.
I know one of your training partners, Austin Vanderford's in Florida right now, training an American Top Team out there. Is that impacted your camp at all, not getting to work with him?
Not a whole lot. You know, leading up to this fight, it was kind of a different style matchup as well. So, you know, we weren't working with Austin quite as much. But he's a great guy to have in the room. He's one of the hardest workers that I've ever met. So he's motivational just having him in the room. You know what I mean? But they're down there in Florida. You know, Paige has got that bare knuckle thing going on. So she's down there seeking out some more women to train with and some other stand-up coaches. And so they're down there having fun in the sun. I can't blame them. They're young, no kids.
Right. Yeah.
I'd be down in Florida too. But they'll be back. You know, they're going to kind of cross-train back and forth, I believe, is their plan. So I hope they enjoy their time down there, and I look forward to seeing them back.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Same crew I've had recently. You know, Coach Fabiano Scherner, who's our head coach, and you know, you see him quite a bit lately. He's been staying pretty busy. And then Mike Pierce, you know, is my MMA wrestling guy, and then my kickboxing coach Robert Hannon Velarde, who's been with me for 5 years now. And if you don't know who he is, you'll hear him in the corner.
Good. We'll be looking for it. How's this fight playing out in the 12th?
Well, I don't know. Are you a betting man?
I am a betting man.
Well, you're going to have to wait and see then.
Well, there you go. I was figure to finish. Maybe we'll see something. I don't know. Well, it could be interesting. You guys both have good styles. Someone's
getting finished. You know I'm coming to finish. I always do. So I'm looking to finish this fight any way that I can. Knockout, you know, submission. I'm going to make it happen. I'm pretty well-rounded, and I feel like I can get it done anywhere with this guy. But you know, we got a game plan, and we're going to go out there and execute it.
I imagine the plan, you know, if all goes well, you know, fingers crossed, no COVID issues or whatever, you want to get one more in this year as far as another fight?
I don't know, man. It's been quite a lot of bullshit leading up to getting this one in. I had a camp in May that got canceled, and then again in August, and then, you know, opponent change after opponent change. It's kind of frustrating time right now with COVID and putting in these full camps and then not getting to fight is tough, man. So we'll see what happens with my health and how things go with all this COVID bullshit. Hopefully things start getting better and it's easier for us to, you know, compete without all this. So we'll see what happens, really. I'm one at a time, really, right now is what I'm doing. So
before we go, I did notice you have a Michael Jordan rookie card. You posted that on Instagram. How long have you had that?
I've had that for a long time. I've had that since high school, probably, so 20-some years.
How much is it worth? Do you know?
You know, I bought it for a couple $100. It's not in that great of shape. I sent it into Beckett to get graded, and it's probably only like a 3 or a 4. It's really not a very good grade, but it was cool to have one, seeing all the hype, and I was like, oh, wait, I think I have one of those. Let me look at my box of cards. So it's kind of exciting, you know what I mean?
Were you a basketball fan growing up?
I was, yeah, big-time Blazer fan, you know. I was always a wrestler. You know, I played basketball, I guess, you know, on the playground, but I was really always a wrestler. But I was always a big-time Portland Trailblazer fan, you know. They had some good years back in the
I remember in the 90s, man, Clyde Drexler, Glenn Robinson, rest in peace. I mean, they had a lot of really good guys back in the day, especially. So
it was rough seeing the Lakers kick our asses again 20 years later. You know what I mean?